Why do we use money that is backed by nothing and can be created out of thin air? Here's the story of how we ended up with dirty fiat money. It's a cycle that has played out many times in history. Things always start with commodity money. Gold was the best, scarce, durable, accepted everywhere. But gold is heavy, hard to carry, hard to divide, hard to store safely. As economies grew, people stored their gold with banks. In return, they got receipts, paper claims on the gold in the vault. This made life a lot easier. People could trade the receipts instead of carrying gold everywhere. And that is the first shift from commodity money to receipt money. But then came the greed. Banks realized no one redeems all their gold at once. We can lend more out than we actually hold. So they started issuing more receipts than they had gold in the vaults. That is called fractional reserve banking, and the second shift from receipt money to fractional money. And it worked until times got tough. When people rushed to redeem their gold, they realized there wasn't enough. Panic spread and banks defaulted. At this point, the honest outcome would be for these corrupt banks to fail. People would suffer, but lessons would be learned. Recovery would begin. But instead, governments or rulers stepped in. They took those paper receipts and turned them into fiat money, simply declaring by law, this is now money and you must accept it. No longer backed by gold, no longer backed by anything at all. Just paper or numbers on a screen, created out of thin air and printed endlessly. That is the final transition, and that is the system we live in today. But here's why Bitcoin changes everything. For the first time ever, we have a commodity money without the flaws of traditional commodities. It's scarcer than gold, but it's easy to store, transport, and divide. All the benefits that people used to rely on receipt money for, Bitcoin has them built in. So for once, money doesn't need all these layers of corruption, dishonesty, and manipulation to function. That's why I save entirely in Bitcoin. Drop me a follow if you want to understand more about how broken our money is and how Bitcoin fixes it.